Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Night Talk. I'm Rob Leonard. Great to be here again. And the Knights had two games this past week. We're going to go over those. We've got some video highlights of Thursday night's game versus the West Nipissing Lynx. And then I've got special guests. I've got Bryan Laureigh, Captain Bryan Laureigh, and goalkeeper Gavyn McCutcheon. Gavyn recorded his first junior shutout win. I tried to give you a shout out there, Gavyn. Okay, his first win, I guess that was on Saturday night. So let's, Mark, let's take a look at the highlights from Thursday night's game versus the West Nipissing Lynx. All right, and as you can.
Rounded, there's another shot on goal for Meaford.
Centered.
In front, shot, score! Number 91, Martin Badura. Zone. Bolduc. Korchenko in the corner. He's knocked down. The Knights come away with it. Back to the point. Flanagan off the post. That was tipped.
Oh, it goes
no,
in.
It's in.
Actually, that's a lie. We've been on the power play / penalty kill for the last 4 minutes of hockey since that second goal went in.
Puck comes in and scored. Looks like number 22.
They have the man up, but not look confident.
Remember a few years ago they were having some issues with the power play, and they brought in here's a chance, right, scored! What a beautiful shot! Hugo Stanaki. The Knights are coming back now. Nice pass. Look at the passing here. Shot right on. That goes just wide. Here's Flanagan. Tipped in front. It's in, yes. The Knights now with a 4-1 lead. Now there's a turnover. Holmes coming in, scores.
Absolutely. Now the penalty is over for West Nipissing, and it'll be a 5-on-3 for the next 45 seconds.
Shot, scores. That puck is in.
And it's Holmes' third.
Holmes scores his third. What an absolute rocket. Been a one-man show tonight. Puck gets cleared out. McDonald can't handle it. Now here come the Knights. Open net, scores! Number 3, the Knights leading by a score of 5-3. West Nipissing scores.
6-5.
Here we go. Open net. Shot, scores. Number 95. Riley LaValle. Meaford Knights are victorious tonight by a score of 6-4.
As you can see, the Knights came out on top with a 6-4 victory over the West Nipissing Lynx. 6 different players scoring on the night: Martin Badura, Declan Flanagan, Hugo Stelnack, Mason McNeil, Jordan DeGao, and Riley LaValle, the 17-year-old rookie from Sudbury, would score his second goal of the season. 2 of those goals were into an empty net. Really important on the night. The Knights had struggled on the power play, but they were able to put up 2 power play goals on the night against the West Nipissing Lynx. For the Lynx, Austin Holmes would score a natural hat trick, but I'll tell you, that was the first game that Roger we've been able to be there, and the Knights, it was really tight checking affair. In the first period, the Knights took advantage and scored a late goal in that period. I think it was Martin Badura was able to pot one at the end of that first period, but then the Knights opened it up again in the second period. But after they scored their second goal, that second goal was a controversial one. I think that West Nipissing didn't believe it went in the net. It did go in the net. It was hit off that center bar. But what happened then was the Knights had a 2-0 lead, but then the Lynx, who were totally frustrated by the Knights' forecheck, their tenacity, they kept their skates moving all the time and just constantly stymieing them. And I believe that really caused the frustration. So the Knights scored that second goal, but they ended up with a 5-on-3 power play as well, because the West Nipissing coach lost his temper, and I think he got a bench minor for his efforts. And there was one other player. Anyway, the Knights ended up with a 5-on-3 power play in that one. So, but again, hats off to the Knights. A great performance. Goalkeeper Justin Frechette in goal played fantastic for the Knights. on that night as well, and getting great support from his teammates. Now, with about 17 seconds to go, there was a scrum behind the net, and Mason McNeil had to be helped off the ice. And we thought he was in real trouble. He had to be taken to the dressing room by the trainer and looked like he was in real trouble, but uh, obviously not, because on Saturday night, the Knights would pay a visit to South Muskoka. South Muskoka beat the Knights in their home opener 6-5 in a shootout loss to the Knights would lose, 6-5 in a shootout. Knights looking for revenge, and they certainly did get that with a 7-2 victory over South Muskoka. Mason McNeil, as I said earlier, was went off the ice looking not in very good shape. Would score a natural hat trick in South Muskoka. He had 3 goals. 2 of them were on the power play. Brennan Shedlowski would get a single. Martin Badura would score a pair. And Mathis Laguerre would also score a shorthanded goal, the very first goal of the game. And it was the Knights pressuring. They were shorthanded. 2 players were on the forecheck in the South Muskoka zone, forced the turnover out to Laguerre in front, and boom, it was home. So again, Mason McNeil with 3. As I said, a surprise seeing him coming back when we thought that he was, looked like he was going to be out for a little bit. But now in that game also, one of my guests later on, Gavyn McCutcheon, the Mississauga native, would get his first junior win. He had a shutout going, I believe, into the 3rd period. But great job by Gavyn, and we'll talk to him in a few minutes, and we can congratulate him properly on his first junior win. Now, Mark, if we could take a look at the league standings. Taking a look, top spot, Temiskaming still there, 10 wins, 1 loss for 20 points. The Bradford Rattlers still undefeated. They've only played 7 games. They're 7-0 with 14 points. West Nipissing, who was sitting on top for quite a while at 5-0, 5-1, they've now dropped to 6-4 into 3rd place. And Ville Marie sitting in 4th with 9 points. Now let's take a look down to spot number 8. The Meaford Knights have only played 5 games, but if you look at their win percentage, 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 overtime loss, 7 points. Ville Marie is their opponent come this Thursday night in Meaford. Meaford, technically, with a win over Ville Marie, could be in 4th spot come Thursday night. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. Looking further down the list, New Tech, who new to Tecumseh, who hadn't had a win all season, they've finally won their first 2 games of the season for 4 points. And Almaguin now sitting in last. We'll take a look at the North Division. Durham region still on top with a record of 9-0, 18 points. Nothing's changed there, really. North York, Niagara, 2nd and 3rd. Now looking at 4th spot, St. George, who I've said they've had a slow start to the season, but they've been able to put 3 wins together, 3 wins in a row. So they're now sitting at 5-3. And it looks like Tottenham got their first win of the season against Plattsville. So everybody's got a win on that side. So if we could take a look at the Knights' leading scorers. Now, take a look at the Knights' leading scorers. The first, looking at Martin Badura, Mason McNeil, Brennan Shedlowski, and Declan Flanagan, all scored their first goals of the season in these past 2 games. So Martin Badura sitting on top with 3 goals, 6 assists for 9 points. He had three goals over the weekend. Mason McNeil had 3 goals over the weekend. And we'll take a look further down, and Riley LaValle sitting there at 10th spot. On the official site, it only lists him as having 1 goal, but he definitely does have 2. He scored an empty netter on Thursday night. So now if we could take a look at the upcoming games, Mark. Upcoming games now, taking a look, Rogers TV will be in Meaford on November the 4th for home game versus Ville Marie. But then the Knights, as I said, the Knights have got a tough schedule. They've got 3 games in 4 nights. They've got Ville Marie on the 4th. They're away to West Nipissing. on the 5th, and then they finish off at 3-4. They finish it off against Bradford Rattlers. Now, taking a look at that, everybody knows how tough it is to play 3 games in 4 nights. And then when you're playing against a team like the Bradford Rattlers, you maybe haven't got a whole lot of hope, maybe going into that final game. But I was looking at the Rattlers' schedule, and the Rattlers actually have 3 games in 3 nights. They play the 5th, 6th, and 7th. The 5th and 6th, they're on the road in Ville-Marie and Temiskaming. So they've got a real long bus trip ahead of them to and from Eastern Ontario and into Quebec. So, and then they have to finish up against the Knights. And the Knights, the way they're playing right now, that should be one heck of a battle come Sunday night in Bradford. So, and again, the Knights are going to play the South Muskoka Shield a few more times. They've got the Bulls a couple times in a row. And as I said, again, they have 12 games in the month of November, with 7 of those being away games. But it really, from what I've seen the last 2 games, I've been able to watch, see the Knights in the last 2 games. I think there's a lot. We got a lot of great things to look forward to this coming season for the Knights of Meaford. So, all right, it's time for Meet the Knights. And as I said, my 2 special guests, we have team captain Bryan Laureigh and goalkeeper Gavyn McCutcheon. Gentlemen, good evening. Or hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Great, thank you, Bryan. Okay, let's start with Bryan. Now, Bryan, you and I had a chance to chat after the game on Thursday night in Meaford, and you're from New Jersey, but your junior hockey has brought you to Canada. So let's start with the Kingston, when you were drafted into the OHL with Kingston.
Well, actually, I wasn't even drafted, to be honest with you. I just got just an open tryout invite from the general manager, Darren Kiley, who's actually with us now as our hockey ops guy. And I just went there and made the most of my opportunity and made the team.
Oh, that's great. I thought you were drafted. My mistake. All right, I'm correct.
No, yeah.
And, so after that, you stayed in the East Coast of Canada. You played some more junior there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I went out to Truro, Nova Scotia, and I loved it there. But that season, unfortunately, got cut short by COVID, so I was never able to make it back, and that's what kind of led me to Meaford.
Okay, so let's talk about that. How did you? Obviously, Meaford drafted you at some point. How did you know about Meaford before being drafted?
No, I did not. To be quite honest, Darren contacted me, and a couple of the other scouts for Meaford also contacted me, and we just started talking about it. And it was really the best option for me to get another year of junior hockey in, as opposed to trying to go out to school too early or just make another decision. So I think this is the best landing spot.
Okay, so so far the Knights, with 5 games in, you've got a great record at 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 overtime loss. And taking a look at these last 2 games that the Knights have played, do you think that's been possibly a turning point in the season? You had a short training camp. You really went into the season relatively cold. Do you think do you see it coming together nicely?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it was probably going to take us a little bit longer than we all wanted to. Just a lot of us haven't played any games in the last 18 months. So I think these last few games have definitely been a turning point. We've definitely been coming together as a team more and more. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Now, in the game Thursday night, I know maybe you don't want to talk about this. Maybe I should have given you a heads up that I'm going to ask this question. But in the discussion that you and I had the other night, and anybody that knows hockey, has played the game, understands, and I completely understand your answer. Now, we talked about the situation that you ended up getting a game misconduct in that scrum in the period with your battle with Tobias Ojek. Of the team. But as a team captain and as a teammate, that situation in a person that thinks with a hockey mind, that was a justified situation, even though maybe you weren't happy with the outcome. It was something that really, again, as a captain, as a teammate, that should have happened.
No, yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I feel the exact same way about the situation. It wasn't really a personal thing with me and the other player. It was more just I had one of my teammates in a battle with 4 other guys, and it didn't look like it was going his way. So I just wanted to help out in any way I could, and I wasn't happy with the suspension, but sometimes that's just the way it goes.
Yes, it's true. And, I think everybody in the building got it exactly what happened, and you were doing what any good teammate would do, and that was to stick up for your teammate, and you pay the price for it in the end. But again, nobody's going to knock you for that situation. So now I guess you were able to watch that game from from a different perspective. You weren't in the game, so do you feel it? I'm noticing a bit of a trend here. I'm noticing that the Knights, the 2 games, the Thursday and the Saturday games, were almost a carbon copy of each other. It's like that first period, tight checking. Everybody's always got their feet moving. Nobody takes a second off. Every shift, everybody's out there, and and then play a good defensive brand of hockey for that first period. If you get an opportunity to score, you do. Then the second period, that's when the goals happen for the Knights, it seems, and then the third period is, kind of a mix of both of those periods. Is that something that is part of the game plan, or is it just the way it goes?
Honestly, I mean, I think our tenacity and the way we play definitely comes from the top down with our coach, but I don't think we try to write it up like that every game to start pouring it on in the second. We definitely like to have some hotter starts, but that's something that's going to come with a few more games under our belt and some more practices, I'd say.
And as I said earlier, the style of play, nobody's throwing dirty hits. There's no dirty check. It's just good, clean, defensive hockey, smart hockey. People are where they should be, and that frustrates your opponents. And that's absolutely what happened against West Nipissing. They were, within the first couple of minutes of the second period, you could see the frustration setting in, and then they started, after that second goal went in, then they took some foolish penalties that really cost them in that game.
No, yeah, I agree with you for sure. I think that we kind of broke their will at a certain point, and I was definitely happy to see the team perform the way they did the rest of that game.
Okay, so now again, as I said, you get a tough part of the schedule coming up. You've got 3 games in 4 nights, and finishing off against the Bradford Rattlers, but maybe it's a little easier to swallow going into that game, knowing that they've actually got a worse schedule than what you guys do.
No, yeah, I think we're going to take that extra night of rest to our advantage, honestly, and I'm hoping for another successful weekend.
Okay, let's switch over to Gavyn McCutcheon. Gavyn, you and I had a chance to chat before we went on air, and we've got a Mississauga connection. Great town.
Yep. I always loved growing up in Mississauga. It was just right outside the big city. It was still kind of a big city, right? So I just learned some good values. I came from a great family, and yeah, I love it there. So yeah.
So you played your minor hockey there. I think I noticed somewhere, I was checking it out, and you played AA in Brampton. Where did you play prior to coming to the Knights?
So I was actually contacted in that off year. The last place I played before coming to the Knights was that Brampton team. Then I was contacted, and last year I was actually here for the training camp. Unfortunately, we didn't get to start any games. It's kind of frustrating, but I was super happy to be back this year. I was super satisfied with what I received here last year, and I was also, all that break, I was just looking forward to being back, right? Playing games and being with the guys. So yeah, I'm super happy to be back.
That's fantastic. And I got to watch your performance in net against South Muskoka. It was great to get a revenge on them after that opening loss to them. So again, you had a shutout going. Nobody likes to say that word. You had a shutout going until about the third period. They potted two quick ones at the start of the third, but you shut the door. You shut the door on them the rest of the way after that.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not really too fussed with the whole shutout thing. Would have been nice, but I was just super happy to get that first win under my belt. I was super happy for the guys too. Everybody was working so hard at practice, and you could tell with that game, the way we worked and the way we just wore them down, that everybody really wanted to walk out of there with that win. And I was super happy to see that we were all justified for what we put in work-wise.
That's fantastic. And, it really, as I said, from the first two games I've seen, it's like everybody's on the same page. Everybody wants the same thing. And I can't even think of one person I thought was maybe dogging it out there, or maybe just not, putting in 100% on their shift. Everybody's got their sticks in the lane. They're taking their man. The forwards are coming back on the back check. It just seems that everybody is supporting everybody in every facet of the game.
Oh, totally. This team, from what I found, we're like one big family, right? So everybody's going out there. We're all playing for each other. So there's never a shift you could take off when you're playing for the guy sitting next to you. We're all out there to succeed. We're all out there with the same common goal, which is to win. So I think everybody is kind of on the same page when it comes to that. And you see, it translates out on the ice, right? So everybody's working their butts off out there. And yeah, it's just a great group of guys. Honestly, the mentality is awesome.
That's great to hear. And, not everybody's going to like everybody, but it sure helps. It sure helps when you respect each other. And, it is really evident out there on the ice. Everybody's in it for the team. I don't see a lot of individuality going on out there. So.
No, well, that's one thing, I think most of the guys, if not all the guys, have had instilled in them through all their hockey is, this is a team sport. It takes every single guy on their game to win, and especially in a league like this, it's tough, right? Every night you got to show up with your best game. And yeah, I think that's what it comes down to, right? Is just playing for the guy next to you. If you can't motivate yourself, you're motivated by everybody else in that room, and we're all here to lift each other up. So yeah.
So you got a little bit of time in Meaford, as you said, but then the season was canceled. So this year you've had a bit more time there. I know Meaford's a great hockey town. They love their team. This early in the season, and it was a decent crowd in there on Thursday night. And I'm sure that, once people feel better about getting out, with the COVID situation and everything, that you're going to see a full barn in Meaford something very soon, especially if you guys keep playing the way you're playing.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's pretty good hockey to watch, right? And I know just by going through the town and whatnot, how everybody is dialed into this team, and I really do appreciate everybody who gives their 2 cents or whatever. And yeah, it's so different being in a town like this compared to where I came from. But honestly, the people are so nice here. I'd say, the transition was near seamless. And yeah, I can't wait to see everybody out at the games. And I really am appreciative of their support. So.
I know what you mean about it's a different atmosphere coming from a bigger center like Mississauga. Like I said, I was born and raised in Owen Sound, but I went to Mississauga from, I guess I was 15 until I was 26. So then coming back to Owen Sound again, to the smaller town, it was like, it really took a while to get used to it again, and realizing I couldn't say anything about anybody because there's a good chance they're related or something, right?
Oh yeah, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah. So, but it definitely has its advantages, both big and small. So, all right. And let's go back to Bryan Laureigh for a minute. Bryan, you were recently named the team captain. How important is that to you? And what does that role mean to you?
I mean, it's absolutely special to me, for sure. I've been I've definitely had some really good leaders over my junior hockey career, and I've definitely taken little things along the way from them. And it's an absolute honor, honestly. I couldn't imagine doing it for a better group of guys and for a better coach. I'm just super happy.
It is an absolute honor to be have that bestowed upon you. So, all right, guys, we're going to wrap it up for this week. I want to thank you so much for joining me, Gavyn McCutcheon, Bryan, Laureigh. Guys, we will see you Thursday night at the rink versus the Ville-Marie Pirates. Sorry, but I'm expecting another W.
So are we.
Yep.
All right. Okay, gentlemen, again, thank you very much. Gavyn, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
All right, you guys take care. And like I said, we'll see you on Thursday night. So again, a huge thank you to Bryan, Laureigh, and to Gavyn McCutcheon for joining me on Knights Talk for this week. I'm Rob Leonard for producer Mark Perry. We'll see you next time on Knights Talk.